Hi everyone, this is Heather here with Treasured Hometown. Today I wanted to take a moment to show you how to make this lovely little spring summer cardigan. This one actually is worked up of 3 different panels, the front and the back panel, and then all stitched together. This stitch actually used a combination of a double treble crochet and then also the Tunisian crochet hook along with half double crochets. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a little thumbs up like and let me know in the comments section what you think about this. And if you have yet to subscribe, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button with the bell notification next to it so you can get a heads up every time I post a new video. To create this pattern, we'll need a few supplies. We'll need our scissors in order to cut our yarn, a darning needle. For this, I'm using a 2mm crochet hook. And for this, I am using this yarn. It's by Yarn Bee Spinazies. The color is mustard. It is a number 3 lightweight yarn. It's 75% viscose and 25% polyester. It does say a number 3, but I am finding it works a lot more like a number 2 weight yarn. So just keep that one in mind. That's also why we're using the much smaller than recommended hook size for this. To start off this pattern, we're going to start and create a slip knot. Now for here, this stitch pattern, it's worked off of multiples of 4. Now for this one, in this cardigan, I'm making a size small, so we'll need a total of 80 chains. Right, now we're at the end here. So we made our 80 chains. Then from here, I'm going to simply chain 1. And then and this chain 1 is not going to count as a stitch. Now we want to do a half double crochet into that second chain from our hook. So yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and go through all 3 loops. Now we just want to repeat this into each chain all the way across. So we're going to make 80 total half double crochets. Here we are. We've finally completed our base 2 rows for the pattern. Now moving forward, we're going to chain 5. Then turn our work. For this row, this will be row 1 of our repeats. This very first chain 5 is counting as a stitch, so we're going to skip over this very first stitch and into this second stitch right here. We're going to do a double treble crochet, so yarn over 3 times, go into your stitch and pull up a loop, then yarn over and go through your first 2 loops. Yarn over, go through your second 2 loops, yarn over your third 2 loops, yarn over and go through your last 2 loops. Now from here, this is where we intricate the Tunisian crochet style. So if you look, we have where we did our pulled 2 loops, we have these 2 loops here, these 2 and these 2. So there's where we're going to be working into. So yarn over, and we're going to go through those first 2 loops right there, and then pull up a loop, yarn over that second set or the middle 2, go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and we're going to go through those bottom 2 loops and pull up a loop, then yarn over, and we're going to go into this next stitch on the bottom, pull up a loop. Now as we can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loops on our hook. So we're going to yarn over and pull through our first 3 loops, yarn over, pull through your next 3 loops, yarn over, pull through your next 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through your last 3 loops. So it's 3, 3, 3, 3. So 4 times pulling through 3. Then we chain 2. And now we're going to skip your next 2 stitches, and we're going to double treble crochet into that 3rd stitch. And then yarn over your first 2 loops, yarn over, go through your second 2 loops, yarn over, go into your 3rd set of loops there, yarn over, and then into the next stitch here on the bottom, then yarn over, come through your first 3 loops, second 3, 3rd set of 3, 4th set of 3, chain 2, and we're just going to repeat this going all the way across, a double treble, then do the loops over the 9 loops and into the next stitch, chain 2, skip 2. Here we are at the very end of the row. Now here, what we want to do into this very last stitch down here, we want to put a double treble and do not do a chain 2 at the end here. So there we are, that forms the very end. You see the chain 5 at the beginning there, and then ended with the double treble right next to the pillar, we'll call it. For the next row, we're going to start and just chain 1, which is not counting as a stitch for this row. Turn your work, and into that very first stitch, we're going to put a half double crochet. Then we're going to put 1 half double crochet into the top of that last row's first double treble crochet, and then into the next stitch another half double. So if you're seeing right on top of the stitch here, first one and the third, and then into the chain 2 space, just right into there, we're going to put 2 half double crochets. And then we're going to put a half double crochet into the next 2 stitches for that pillar. So 1, and we're just going to repeat this all the way across. 2 half doubles into the chain 2 space, then 1 half double into the 2 stitches for the pillar, and we're just going to repeat this going all the way down the entire side. Now here at the very end for our last stitch, we're going to half double crochet into that 5th chain of our first chain 5 from the previous row. And there we are. There is the second row repeat. So what we're going to do is just do a repeat between these 2 rows and just continually repeat until we build it all the way up. And for this pattern, for the cardigan, we want to repeat these until we have rows where we have 23 pillars going up. So go ahead, you might want to pause the video, save for later to go ahead and create all of those repeats. All right, so here I have done 23 rows of these little pillar stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 23 of those. Now I'm going to show you the decreases for the front panel where the opening by the neck is. Now I started another row. But then once we get to the end for a decrease, what we're going to do is start another pillar stitch. So we've done the pillar stitch. Do not do a chain 2 in between, and then start your next pillar stitch, but do skip those 2. So here we are. We've just done the little pillars, but there's no chain 2 in between. And then into our very last stitch, create our double treble crochet. So here is a decrease, but it does go with one more row too. So we do our chain 1, and then half double crochet into that very first stitch. And now what we're going to do into our next 2 stitches is half double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all of the loops, and then repeat that again on the top of the next little pillar stitch. And then just continue as your pattern would have gone. 2 half doubles into the chain 2, 1 half double into each top stitch of the pillar, and repeat that going all the way across. So here is to show you the decrease for it. And we're going to want to continue doing this going up. And this will be repeated for 11 rows of this. So as you're going across, come back to right here, and we're just going to simply tie this pillar and this pillar because it's now just the 2 stitches on top. And we're going to repeat this over and over. So 11 total decrease rows. And then we'll end with the half double crochets onto the very top. And for your second panel, now if you look at your work, there are 2 sides. Here's the one side, and here is the other side. This side I'm looking at is going the side that we're going to want to have facing out. You might see it differently and want this side facing out onto yours. That is entirely up to you. But to make sure you have the panels done all correctly, so this one, we did the decreases on this side to have so that those same sides are facing. You're going to want to start the row for the other panel with a decrease on the opposite side where we start for this row. So instead, this row would have the decreases onto it. So start with the decrease instead of ending with the decrease, how we're doing on this panel. So just keep that in mind for your second panel. For our back panel, we're going to be doing the same stitch pattern, but we're going to start off with a chain for the back for the size small of 105. So 104 plus the chain 1, and then our half double crochets, and then do our pillar stitch. And we're going to repeat this all the way up until we have a total of 34 sets of pillars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so on. And that is how we make the size small for the back panel. Now that we have our back panel all done, now if you remember I had said there's the right and wrong sides, or front and back sides. So this side I'm actually using as the front facing for it. So whereas the other side, you can tell especially right here the look of the stitches. So I'm actually picking this side as being the outside facing side. And you're going to want to take your 2 front panel pieces and find the exact same matching sides and lay them out. Here is the straight edge, and here's the one where we decreased on. And I'm going to line that up across the top so that the same sides are facing, but the decreased side is towards the center because that will be opening towards the front, and same with the other piece. And then from here, I'm going to simply be using the slip stitch method to slip stitch these right together. And I'm just going to go all the way across the entire top border right to the very center. And now that we're here at the very center or end of this panel, go ahead and tie off. So we have the one front panel attached. Now we're going to want to attach our working end of our yarn into this side and sew on the other panel piece. Right, and now if you notice, we've got the two front panels attached to the top border of the back panel. We do have this little opening here coming down. This will be the very front. So our next step is we're going to be sewing together the front to the side panels, and you're going to repeat this for each side. So we're going to be stitching up all the way along this edge here. Now before we stitch the sides together, we need to measure for the armhole. So right here is the very top seam for the to the back panel and the front panel. I'm simply going to match up coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of our little brick stitch openings. So count down 9 openings. And I actually used a little marker in order to hold it together. I like these because they hold together kind of like a safety pin. And I marked right into this row. So we're going to actually end right in here. So this will be the arm opening. And we're going to come down all the way to the very bottom edge over here. Attach our yarn into here and slip stitch all the way up this outer edge. We'll be using this half double or this double treble crochet stitches. We're going to be linking them onto. So slip stitch all the way up this edge, making sure that you're lining up everything and using your loops so that all of your rows match up. And now that we're at the end, make sure to sew together both side seams in order to hold it all together. And your very last step is to weave in any ends that you might have and enjoy your lovely new cardigan. As soon as I do have it available, I will have linked in the video description box below a PDF version of this pattern available for purchase through my shop, and that will be linked in the video description box. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know in the comments if you liked it or not. Leave a thumbs up, like, and if you have yet to subscribe, be sure to hit that little subscribe button with that bell notification next to it to get a heads up every time I post a new video.